Yesterday's one HANA replication. So replicating the primary system database data into secondary continuous replication, or whatever the replication modes and the operation modes we are choosing. So it will replicate the data into our respective the target system, which means respective secondary system. Normally we will call it as the secondary system here. So HANA, while registering, we have the operations mode here, right? We have the operation modes. So operation modes and replication modes are available here. Operation modes and replication modes. Operation modes and replication modes. So they are the two types of operation modes are available in SAP while registering the secondary system. So we have to decide which operation mode we need to we need to give in the system. So they are the operation modes like, so one is the delta delta data shipping here, right? So second one is the log replay mechanism, delta data shipping and the log replay mechanism here, log replay mechanism here. So delta data shipping. So what is mean by delta data shipping here? There are the two types of operation modes and three types of replication modes are available. So in the operation modes, delta data shipping, which means, so this mode, when registering the secondary into primary, this mode establish a system replication occasionally. Occasionally means every 10 minutes. It will establish a replication occasionally. Per default, every 10 minutes, a delta data shipping takes in place. In addition to the continuous log shipping, so every 10 minutes, the delta data shipping in place from primary to secondary. Primary to secondary, the delta data shipping is in place when you are registering here. When you are registering, this is in place here. This is in place here. That is what will happen in the systems here. Right? Every 10 minutes, occasionally, this will establish the connection here. This will establish the connection here, right? Configure the system replication. Then when register into primary, you see here, there is a option you will get. There are the options you will get in the system here. There are the options. So you will get the one console. In that console, you will get the, please provide the replication modes and operation modes here. In the replication mode, we have the delta data shipping, which means this mode establishes system replication occasionally. Every 10 minutes, a delta data shipping takes place in addition to log shipping. The logs will be continuously will ship to the secondary, from primary to secondary. But condition to that one, so a delta data shipping in place here. The secondary system will receive the log entries from primary, but the only thing is here, it does not replay. Means it does not apply, the logs will not be applied here. Only thing is here, the logs does not replay the logs, does not replay the logs, until we take over, secondary as a primary. Until we take over the secondary is as a primary, the logs will not be replayed. Here. So, sir, means during this, when you configure this operation modes, suppose something is happened in the primary, when you take over, secondary will be the primary will be the secondary. So during this procedure, if you want secondary to be fully available, this may take some longer time. Why? Because all the logs should be replayed, then system should be available. So to minimize the log replay time, there is a data snapshots, or transmitted from time to time, primary to secondary. The data snapshot also transmitted asynchronously. That will be transferred to automatically. That will be triggered by the our secondary system here. Secondary system during that will be triggered here. So this will take some longer time when you are using this data shipping here, primary to secondary. The data will be replayed, data will be processed, but data will not be replayed. It will wait. All the logs will be wait until we take over. Whenever you take over means what will happen? Take over means secondary as a primary, then primary as a secondary. That is the takeover. Something has happened in the primary, you need to bring the secondary to be off. Then you use the takeover command. Then the takeover will be applied here, right? That is the takeover. So that is the takeover command here. So coming to the takeover, once then coming to the another log mode is called another operation mode is called the log replay. In this operation modes, so redo logs, logs will be replayed continuously. Continuously, the log will be replayed on the secondary. As soon as the log is applied, immediately will be applied. Whenever you want to take over, immediately the secondary system immediately can be take over immediately. There is no delay. But if the primary system fails, the continuous log replay, the log entries are sent to the buffers in the memory. So, but in case of the secondary system is disconnected temporarily, the primary system must not to override or log entries in the system, which means the secondary disconnected. So the logs will not come to the secondary, right? If secondary is disconnected from the primary, the logs will not be replayed, right? That will happen in the situation here, right? So that is the one. So here, that is the difference between the operational modes and replication modes here. So in the delta data shipping, every 10 minutes by default, occasionally the delta data will be shipped to the primary to secondary. In the log replay operation modes, continuously the logs will be shipped to the secondary. So in this way, if you do the takeover, even this operational mode, immediately the secondary is available, then operations can be resumed. But this will immediately the secondary is not available, but this will take some time to secondary become active status here. That is the operation modes here. See here, secondary, you want to register into the primary. See here, operation modes, right? Replication modes. They are the operation modes and replication modes are available in the systems, right? This is the operation modes and replication mode configuration here, right? So that is the one. So this is the operational modes and replication modes configuration here, right? So secondary system, suppose like so source system information, source system SAP, the Linux one, initiate the full data shipping. So here you can see synchronous. There the operation modes also available here. There the operation modes here. Replication modes. HANA replication modes here. HANA replication modes here. So they are the three types of replication modes here in the HANA. They are the three types of replication modes here in the HANA database here. HANA database here. So one is the synchronous. Second one is the synchronous in memory. Sync mem, async. These are the three types of replication modes here, right? So what does it mean, right? What does it mean here? So replication modes. So one is the sync. Second one is the async. The third one is called the third one called the sync mem. Sync mem here. So what does it mean, right? So it is mean. So whenever whatever. Okay. So whenever this is the primary, this is the secondary, right? Primary and secondary. So whenever the data, once data received from the SAP application, immediately it will send the data to, immediately this is the persistency memory. This is the persistency storage here, data folder, everything here. So what happens in the synchronous communication? So the primary will send the data to the secondary, then secondary will send the acknowledgement back to the primary saying that I received the transaction, then primary will send the one more transaction to the secondary, then secondary will send the acknowledgement back to the primary. So like that, one sequence wise in the synchronous mode, it will wait for the acknowledgement, then it will commit the next transaction. It's very important. Synchronous means synchronous communication, asynchronous communication. Synchronous communication means it will wait for the acknowledgement from the secondary. Then primary will send the one more transaction, like that. Occasion like that. So it will send the data to the secondary here, primary to primary. It will send the acknowledgement. Then primary will send the transaction here. So this type of mode is called the here. So here synchronous means it will wait for the response, acknowledgement, right? So if the primary is sending the acknowledgement to the memory, main memory, means data is transferring to the main memory, then that is called the sync mem. But if it is storing the data to the persistency layer level, data folder level at OS level, so from main memory to OS level, this procedure is called the sync here, right? Asynchronous mechanism means the primary does not wait. So primary will keep on sending the data to the secondary. So, but the secondary does not, so the primary does not wait until primary received or not here. So then there is no communication, there is no acknowledgement. Async means there is no acknowledgement. Sync means there is a acknowledgement will received by the, so primary from secondary here, then it will send the next transaction. But primary in the asynchronous mode, if you select it, primary does not bother about my secondary received the transaction or not. It does not bother about that connection. Then immediately it will keep on sending the data to the secondary. Then so primary will keep on sending the data to the secondary, but it does not check whether secondary received or not. Whether secondary not received also, then it will keep on sending the data here. So in this is called the asynchronous mechanism here. So normally during the disaster recovery scenario, we will use the asynchronous mechanism. Synchronous is for the, so production mechanism, production HA side will use it here. Here DR, there is a, sometimes the people will configure the DR systems as well here, disaster recovery systems also. So what happened, there is a primary data center here, primary data center in the one country, there is a secondary data center is in the one country here. They have the use business. This is in the one country, this is in the one country. Here you have the two databases are available here. In the primary, they will configure the two databases here. In another region, another data center, they have the one more DR server, they will keep it here. So this is the production site here. This is the production. Main business operations will happen. Disaster. Why? Because due to the some natural calamity, due to the power fluctuation, due to the hardware issues, entire your production site is down. Then to want to bring up, it may take very longer to bring up, but business operations are affecting. Then in this case, they will start the disaster recovery scenario, disaster recovery mechanism. So it means they will start the one more server, DR server. Sir, what about the data here? So that is the reason here. So we have the, so we have the HA scenario here, HA scenario. This is a DR scenario here. So what will happen here, HA scenario? What will happen here, HA scenario here? So, so primary to here synchronous mode. Then from here to here, we will configure the asynchronous mode here. Here to here synchronous mode. Here to here, we will configure the asynchronous mode here. So primary will send the, because DR site is very far from the production site here. Example, 100 miles, very far from the, so under more than 100 miles. So then in this case, we will use the async mechanism here. But this is the sync mechanism here. This is the sync mechanism here. Async sync mechanism here. So what will happen? So the SAP will send the data to the this database only. But same data we are replicating to the secondary, same data we are replicating to the SAP, and same data we are replicating to the DR as well, disaster recovery also, safer side. So which means we have the three databases here. So which means, so this is the tier 2, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So tier 3 databases means three databases here. So which means one database is data you are moving to the here, and here also you are moving here. So for HADR scenario, what will happen? We will not keep DR as a synchronous mode, asynchronous mode only. Why? Because DR is very far. So what happens? Why we have to not, we will not keep it means, normally sometimes we may face the system performance issues here. Why? Because primary will receive the data, be receiving before committing, it will send the data to the secondary. Secondary will receive the data, will save it, then only primary will commit the next transaction, then it will send to the secondary, then only it will, like that, one sequence wise, one order wise, the data transmission will happen here. But some cases secondary will not send due to the some issues, replication broken, hardware issues, or system down or something. The secondary will not send the acknowledgement. Why? Because synchronous mode, it will wait for the acknowledgement, but in the synchronous is not sending the acknowledgement here. Secondary is due to some issues, it's not responding. Then what will happen? The primary will not commit any transaction code. So sometimes in the production system, so during the replication scenarios, we may face some performance issues here. In that case, what we can do, we have to break the, when the secondary is not available, we have to break the replication. We know how to break the replication also, right? There is a break the replication. We can break that replication as well here, right? We can break that replication. When you break the replication here, what will happen? When you break the replication, so the connection will be closed. Then we can connection will be closed. Connections will be, when we break the replication, all the connections will be closed. Then primary will not send the data. There is no replication will be broken, no connection. Then there is no performance issues here. So that will happen in the systems here, right? That is the main important thing. So DR scenario. So in case of entire production box is down due to some hardware failure, entire your operations are stopped. Then that time they will bring up the DR systems, DR database. They will start the operations from here, DR site onwards. Because some banking sectors, some mission critical applications. So those applications, they will maintain the production as a HA, and a DR scenario they will maintain it. Why? Because so in case of production server is down, we should have the data, right? So that they will maintain the data from the here onwards. That is the main use case for the here, right? That is the main thing of the disaster recovery scenario mechanism, right? That is the one.
Sir, how can we configure this DR?
DR, there is a separate procedure. There is a copy of same procedure. Like we will take the backup, right? Backup of the production system. Then first of all, what we will do? Same SID, same SID, same SID. Okay, same instance number, same instance number. One more host, same instance number. Then we'll configure the replication same. So DR, go to the DR, right click. Then whatever the options we have, same options you will get in the DR. DR means there is no special like just only so one more secondary system. So we are creating here one more secondary system just to log into the DR. So then system replication. Then we will configure the asynchronous mechanism. We will register the secondary. So then register the one more system. We can register into the primary here. That is the main procedure. We have to do that one. But here before doing that one, so we can take the backup of here. That backup we can restore it in the system. We know that backup restore method. Same way we can restore it in the here. The main thing is same SID, same instance number, the same size we have to maintain. Whatever the production DB size, same sizes we have to maintain, or more than that, same database versions we have to install it on the both the three systems. Then we can initiate the replication here. Worst case scenario, if the production is down, so normally that time we will bring up the DR site, or we will bring up the BR site, data backups, we can copy it, then we can restore the DR site. So that time operations will be resumed, business operations will be resumed. That is also one possibility here. Okay, so that is the DR, HADR scenarios.
Sir, while doing a DR test, in our project, like they are making the primary into secondary and the secondary into primary. How it will work for HANA system, sir?
HANA also same. They're making means databases only they are changing here. Means what we will do during the DR test. So we will connect SAP applications to the means we are not sure, right? Only database data it's moving to the here, but we are not sure whether data is moving or not. To test that functionality, whatever the data is there in the production system during the DR drills, DR testing procedure, yearly once or 1.5 year, we will make the DR drills here. So which means we want to test it that functionality here, whether the data is coming or not. If in case of real disaster, if you bring the DR server, so all the data should be received. That time, if you realize data is not syncing here means there is no use case that time. That's why yearly once what our people will do, they will validate the system, they will validate the data here. What they will do in the production system, some of the table entries, some of the transactions, some of the things they will take a note. Then same they will bring up the system, same they will validate it here. Whether everything is reached or not, they will validate it here. Everything is reached or not, they will start the SAP system will be stopped during this time. Only DB is active, DB is active. One only data will be replicated to the here, right? So that time what they will do? So they will database active. They will break the replication maybe. So then they will start the SAP systems as well. Then they will see the data, whatever the data is here, same data should be replicating or not. Whatever the table entries are there here, same table entries should be available here, right? So then only we can say like all the data is properly synced. Like that, we can check it out during this activity. Some of the test cases we can build it. Then we can check whether all the data is replicating or not. We can check it out.
Sir, during DRDL test, do we need to stop the applications in primary or it is not required?
Actually, sometimes what will happen, that depends upon the customers actually. Depends upon the test cases actually. Sometimes what happens, during the DL drill, entire production operations, they will stop it. Some customers, they will bring up, they will stop all the production systems. They will wait for the data to be replicated. Then they will start the DR servers. Then they will log into the SAP, do some checks. Okay, all the data synced, everything looks good. Then they will stop the DR servers. Then they will start the production servers. Then they will resume the business operations here. This activity during the weekends, they will perform it. Some customers, what they will do, instead of affecting the data here, the production is production, just they will isolate the DR server IP address and everything. The production is up and running only. Just they will copy the data from here to here. They will sync the data. Everything is synced. Then they will break the replication here. So then they will start the DR server. Then they will validate the data. Everything is okay. Then they will shut down the DR server. That is called
Our work is only starting and stopping.
our work is starting and
Break
stopping.
the replication and then we will
Yes.
start the
Yeah. Our work is starting the databases. See whether data is everything is replicated or not. Any logs are replayed, getting replayed. Everything is okay. So all those things we need to check. If any technical checks like table entries, checking something. Functional have some functional team, they will do the more testing here. So whatever the data, table entries, financial data, same data is available here or not, they will validate it. Some customers, they will stop the production. Some customers, they won't stop the production. That is the use case.
Okay. In that case, they will take the backup and then they will replicate in the same in DR.
Right.
Okay.
Sir, in DR only backup data will be stored, or primary data will be as usually copied to DR?
Yeah, primary entire data, whatever the data we are receiving it here means same data should be copied to the two places here.
Okay.
Same
In
data.
that case, you said that in synchronous data it will be waiting for confirmation, and asynchronous it will won't be
Waiting for the confirmation here. In case of asynchronous mode, it is not waiting for the confirmation. The logs are not shipped. Then what we have to do? Then we have to full backup. We need to take it out and we need to restore it. All the data will be, it will be replaced here. That time when the system is not in sync, DR server is not in sync with the production that time, so then we can take the backup and we can restore it, or we can initiate the log shipping again. Maybe if you reconfigure the replication mode again all the data will be replicated to the here.
Okay.
Suppose up to yesterday this is fine, only today's data is not configured due to issues, then whatever, once the issue is fixed here, once the data bit is started here, if you configure the replication again, so whatever the data is not copied, all the data will be again recopied to the DR server. We have to wait, just we have to see once everything is done, once everything is active. So yesterday we seen, right, percentage completed, once everything 100% is success, then we can perform it.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the DR